We are surrounded on all sides, above and below, within and without, by love, protection, divinity, and magic. The circle is cast, and so it is. Hello. My name is Chubb. My pronouns are they, them. That was a really good shuffle. And this is Phasecraft Collective, your weekly check-in with the tarot to get the vibes, see what's possible, see what is brewing for the week to come. I am just simply delighted that it is finally officially fall. It's kind of cool today for me here where I am, but I just took a look at the forecast and it is unfortunately going to be back up in the 80s at the end of this week into the beginning of next week, and then hopefully we're down for the foreseeable future because, y'all, I just can't do it anymore. It's too hot. I don't like the heat. I need it to be cold, and that is it. Not too cold though, but also I live in a place where, you know, it does get too cold, and I did that to myself. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about magic. We're here to talk about the tarot. We're here to see what's possible for us as we move into the second eclipse of this eclipse season next week on October 2nd. The energy is still a little wibbly wobbly, a little timey-wimey, as they always are when it's a transition. Because we're in a transition from fall, or from summer to fall, and fall in itself is like such a transitionary season, right? Like the things are dying and falling, and like just stuff is happening. There's a lot of energy in the fall, which is probably why it's so associated with the mystical, the magical, the reaching beyond and behind the veil, which is incredible. And it's also why I do my Season of the Witch class series in the fall. It's like the, 4-step guide to becoming a witch, essentially. You've heard me talk about it before. If this is not your first class, LOL, your first episode. On October 10th, Witchcraft 101, finding your craft, figuring out how to bring witchcraft into your everyday life starting now. Then we go into October 17th with Altar and Ritual, building and tending altars. Why would you even work with an altar? What is it for? Why are we doing this? Then we do Spellcraft 101, which is such a blast, giving you the tools to confidently create your own spells. And then on Halloween, a Samhain spell circle, which is going to be just delightful. I love doing group rituals, even virtually, and doing it on Halloween is so magical and special. But anyway, as always, the link with all the info and the ways to sign up is in the episode description, but let's get to this week's reading. So, if this is your first time, we begin by breathing, grounding, setting the container together. So, if you'd like, you can join me in closing your eyes, or you can simply let your gaze settle down at your cheeks or land somewhere else out in space. And just take a couple of breaths to come into this moment, to let yourself land. Notice your shoulders rising and falling, your rib cage expanding and softening. Bring your awareness to wherever you're making contact with the ground, whether it be your seat in the chair, your feet on the floor, your back on a bed. However you are anchored to the earth, become aware of that point of contact. And start to send your breath there. Send the heat of your exhales into that spot, melding you, holding you in the here and now. And as I call to the spirits and guardians of the elements here, I invite you to imagine their force creating a circle of protection around you. You might pour a circle of salt, or sea stones, or flowers rising up in a ring from the ground. You might light a ring of fire, or carve a moat of blue flowing water, or put up a force field, a dome of air. You might do any combination of these things or something else all together that helps you feel protected and safe in this space. I call to the spirits and guardians of the north, of earth, of the deepest roots and the tallest trees, of the stardust that gave shape to this planet and to our bones. Hail and welcome. I call to the spirits and guardians of the east, of air, of wind and breath, of thought and change. Hail and welcome. I call to the spirits and guardians of the south, of fire, of the life-giving sun and the powers of creation and destruction, cleansing and renewal. Hail and welcome. And I call to the spirits and guardians of the west, of water, of the oceans and our blood, the rivers and our sweat, the rain and our tears. Hail and welcome. We are surrounded on all sides, above and below, within and without, by love, protection, divinity, and magic. The circle is cast, and so it is. All right, y'all. Let's get to the good stuff. Oh, geez. Okay. Yeah, once again, if this is your first time here, I just shuffle and let the cards fall out of the deck as needed. Those two feel like they want to come out. Okay. Oh, all right. This deck is talkative today. Okay, 6 and 7 of Wands came out together, and it's not like a case of like the deck not being shuffled enough. I've used this deck many, many times. But that is really interesting energy. We're starting out with a feeling of balance and the need for balance and the need for not just balance in the like, not like external balance of like the actions that we take, but the balance of the internal and our values and our choices with Justice and the Two of Swords. Anything else here? One card like flipped around and then landed back in the deck, so I'm going to say it changed its mind. All right. So at the end. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so as I mentioned, we have Justice and the Two of Swords starting us out here. And when I talk about balance of the mind, like internal balance, I really mean like remembering that what we think we know and what we think about a situation and the like main thoughts in our head, whether you hear a voice or not, which is sometimes we have those conversations of like, do you have an internal monologue or like, do you hear a voice in your head? And like, I think that there's no way we will ever be able to understand what each other are saying about it and more. Anyway, I won't get into that. Brains are wild. But remember to explore the feelings that are part of your intuition, right? And when I talk about intuition, especially within the tarot, there's the intuition of like our logic of just like the connections that our brain has made throughout us living throughout life and living our lives and like growing and changing. And then there's the intuition of like something from outside of us giving us something. And it can be hard to know the difference between those two things, but everyone is intuitive. You take actions based on your intuition all the time. And with the Two of Swords and with Justice, there's this invitation to open yourself up to more of the emotive, like feeling side of that intuition. Justice also is the card associated with Libra, and we just entered into Libra season, and Libra is like the sign of like balance and decision or indecision. And that's exactly what the vibe is here, is like, in order to comfortably make decisions, seeing things from all sides, including not just thought, but also feeling, including not just the head, but also the heart, including not just your initial reaction and your mental intuition, but your psychic intuition, your otherworldly intuition that we all have access to. We just have to seek it, right? These came out with the King of Pentacles as well. And the King of Pentacles can be a little separated, can be a little like, what's the word I'm looking for? Individual. Can be a little distracted by the immediate physical world. And bringing into balance the body and the material with the mind and the intuition is the task of the King of Pentacles when he's out of balance. I'm going to say balance again. So, staying grounded and present while you explore like the space of your mind and the space of your intuition is not only key for keeping you feeling like safe and sane, but also key for your material world, your material experience to be elevated. And by elevated, I don't mean like some weird ascension thing. I just mean like more, right? Like more present, more decisive, more at peace. I always hesitate to use the word content because I think sometimes contentment can be like slightly negatively connotated. But you can be content and still know that there's room to grow. You can be happy with where you're at and acknowledge that, of course, there can always be more. So it's that balance piece of like gratitude and acknowledging the present and the real while still knowing that there's more to be had. I don't know if any of that made sense. This is one of those times where it's like I'm opening my mouth and saying a lot of words, and it could be completely like not even complete sentences, or, you know, I could be speaking in tongues. I'm going to hope that's not the case. So from here we go into the 5 of Swords, the 3 of Swords, and the 3 of Wands. And this is such an interesting combination of energy between the 5 of Swords and the 3 of Swords, because it's like there's this essence of some sort of conflicting feeling about an ending, about a shift. Like it's sadness, it's grief, it's like disappointment, but then also like knowing that there's something you might be missing, or that you might be disappointed for the wrong reasons, or it might be a feeling that's surprising you. And the 3 of Wands is just here to say, hey, like no matter what the conflicting feelings are, no matter what the pain is, no matter what the shift is, there is an ending here that is opening the way, opening the path towards something different, towards something new, towards a journey that you maybe don't know the destination for. Oftentimes, those difficult situations do push us in directions that we never would have explored without a little discomfort, without a little pain, without a little dissatisfaction. The dissatisfaction piece is something I think about with the 5 of Swords a lot, because so often it can point to like something being resolved but feeling like something is still missing. So there's like this piece of just like not where is this pain coming from, but why is this pain here? And exploring what that means, exploring if maybe you will never know why the pain is there, but allowing it to show you a different trajectory for your actions, a different trajectory for your experience. And again, being okay with not knowing where you're going to end up with it. So I want to talk about from there, because we had like that, it's like this, again, like this transitional moment. The 6 and 7 of Wands and the Knight of Pentacles. So, excuse me. 6 of Wands and 7 of Wands, we have like this aspect of celebrating and then this aspect of fighting for something. And it's a real invitation and push towards picking your battles and knowing when to maybe not accept, but like honor a truth, and knowing when to fight it and push against it and shift it and move it. Like knowing when to honor when something is finished and knowing when to keep pushing. And that's like very much the vibe here. So again, more balance, more like back and forth. And then the Knight of Pentacles, which if you're watching, this is the Small Spells tarot deck. And we have this like lovely autumnal looking card for the Knight of Pentacles with this like tree and leaves and a like witchy hand with flame. Anyway, so the Knight of Pentacles is saying you have time to figure things out, like not rushing yourself through these, I don't want to say decisions, but actions. Not rushing yourself to be like, oh God, do I like do something now or do I wait? Or like, is this the end of the thing? Or like, is this even worth doing something for? Like, just doing it and like letting things unfold, but being intentional about how you're using your energy and whether or not it serves your long-term goals. That's it. That's very much the vibe here. The Knight of Pentacles is very slow-moving energy. The Knight of Pentacles is very fall, very autumn, very like be with the present while you plan for the future. Again, balance. That's the word for this week. What can I say? There always is one, which is actually really funny because Temperance is our last card. LOL. But before this is great. We got Death and then Temperance. So 13 and 14 in the deck. Death. Which is, I mean, autumn is death. As much as like winter is dead and autumn is dying. So this is that like invitation to put yourself fully into the process of transition. Put yourself fully into the idea of like shifting and trying again and failing and trying again and continuing to push yourself. Maybe not push yourself, but just let yourself experience the shifts and the change. Because now is the time to do it. If we're aligning our actions with the seasons the way that like our ancestors once did, as the days grow shorter, you will have more time to be with the dark. And not just the physical dark of the world, the dark of your subconscious, of your inner mind. That's the thing with like the lack of light, is like the darkness is so scary to us because it is when we sleep. It is when we experience those inner worlds. And spending more intentional time with them is what lets this transformation happen. This shift from what was to what is and what is becoming. And then, Temperance. This is then taking what you have after this transformation or even during this transformation and building from it and making something new and mixing and matching until you find something that is stronger and that works. Again, temperance is about molding and melding, not about taking things away. It is about shifting. It is about alchemy. It is about art. It is experimentation. It is blending together two things you love or two things you hate to see if maybe together they can be something you love. We love temperance. We love temperance in this house. Let's check the bottom of the deck. 10 of Pentacles. The reward for doing this work is the legacy and the comfort and the abundance that is yours to take. And with the 10 of Pentacles, we're not just talking about personal abundance. We're talking about like creating that space of abundance for our community, for our family, for our progeny, whether they be cats or humans, whether they be blood descendants or people just influenced by your work and by your life. Yeah. At the end of all of this, hopefully, is that comfort that the King of Pentacles, way back at the beginning, has, but through new light of gratitude and appreciation. Yes, that's the reading. I'm obsessed. I love it. That's great energy to get us started with Libra season, to get us started with fall. So let's close the space, shall we? Once again, I invite you to close your eyes if it feels safe and good to do so, or just let them land on your cheeks or somewhere out in space. Take a couple of breaths to let it all simmer, let it all settle. Reimagine the elemental barriers that you put up for yourself, and as you take a deep breath in and out, imagine your breath carrying them away, sinking stone, flowers back into the earth, dissipating the salts, sending water ebbing away, putting out the fire, and releasing the air into the ether. Opening the circle and releasing the energy. I release the spirits and guardians of the west of water, the south of fire, the east of air, and the north of earth, sending you back to your place in the natural order with praise and with gratitude. I send the energy of all those watching and listening back to them whole, complete, and intact. And I take my energy back to myself whole, complete, and intact. May we remain friends, though our energies are no longer crossed, corded, or tangled at all, starting now. Take a breath, feel your energy settle into you, all yours. The circle is open, and so it is. Cool. All right, my friends. Well, that is it for this week. If you want a one-on-one personal reading to go more in depth about what fall has in store for you, you can get them on my website. In the description, I have all the links, obviously. I have my emailed readings, 4-card or 7-card. I have virtual readings over Zoom. So lots of opportunity to get on my calendar and see what's possible for you. And then, of course, I'll say it one more time, Season of the Witch coming soon. I'm so excited for this class series. It's the first time I've offered them all so close together, in conjunction. Usually they've been kind of sporadic throughout the year. But I'm so excited to put them all in one neat little package. You can come to just one or you can come to all of them. Again, all the info is at the link in the description. But that's all. I will leave you here, and I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day. I will see you next week.